guys, it's Hello Nisi, and I'm back at it again with a new video. I know it's well overdue, so please forgive me. Forgive me now. Let's go ahead and take this moment and forgive me for not uploading videos. So let's get into this video. But first, forgive the noise in the background. My little cousin's in the room and she is watching Bubble Guppies. So let's go. I know by the title of this video, I know y'all wondering, like, you got into a fight? Yes, I got into a fight. I used to fight. But I'm going to tell y'all about how I got into a fight, and it's my first fight, and it happened when I was in middle school. So let me go ahead and tell you the story. So I was in the 7th grade when I was in middle school, and I was new to the school, and it was around the end of the school year. It was like the mid of the school year, so it was like in February, and I was already there from the beginning, from August, so I had been there for a while. So it was this girl, and I can't say her name in the video because she might be watching this video and I don't want to put her stuff out there, so I'm gonna just call her Sally. This girl named Sally was messing with me, and she always wanted to mess with me. At first, when we first met, we was cool. We was like this. We was real cool. Ate lunch with her every day. I would bring her a little sandwich every now and then. She wanted a little something to eat. But Sally wanted to act a fool one day and just started messing around with me. I was like, alright, cool. We ain't gotta be friends. Just to the school, I didn't know nobody there. So I was just like, don't start it. Don't start it. But she did it anyway. We left from lunch because she was messing around with me at lunch. And I just sat by myself because, yeah. And I sat with a group of dudes that was like really cool in our classroom. That was cool and like really known around in the school. So I just sat with them. And they was really cool. And I've been sitting with them ever since, like the first day of school. And they just always accept me. Like I was just that person. After lunch, we was going to science class. And when we went to science, Shawty sat behind me, and I sat at a table. So we had tables, and she was at the table here, and I was at the table here, right in front of the teacher's desk, because that's when my mom made me sit in the front, because she came in my class one day. But that's a whole nother story, a different time. Let's not talk about that. But I had to sit in the front. So Shawty was just picking with me. She was just going at it. And I'm sitting over here, I'm like, she better leave me alone, bruh. But remind you, I had never gotten into a fight. Never got into a fight a day in my life. Might have boxed a couple times. You know, my dad took me to go box, and I've been boxing since I was a little girl. But fighting, and like actually fighting like outside of the ring, never done that in my life, okay? So I was just like, she just need to leave me alone. And I know this teacher see it, but we had a sub that day, and I'm like, I know you see it. I know you do. There's no way that you cannot see that this little girl is picking with me. So I'm just sitting there. I'm just doing my work. Well, acting like I know what I was doing, because I sure enough didn't know what I was doing. But I was just sitting there. I'm doing my work, writing down in my little journal or whatever. And then next thing you know, she breaks a pencil and she starts throwing stuff at me. And I'm like, why are you breaking a pencil? And then she was just throwing stuff at me. Just throwing stuff. Just throwing papers, balling up and throwing it at me. So she gets up, and I had 2 pens and a pencil on my desk, but it was sitting towards the edge of the desk. And she just picked up my pencil. She got up and she picked up my pencil and went back to her seat. And then when she went back to her seat, she broke my pencil in half and threw it at me. And she said, now do something. So I get up, I pick up my pencils, and I come back and I go over to her and I throw the pencils in her face. And then before she could even swing at me, I was already on her, grabbed her by her hair, and beat her face in. She tried to get up, and she was just swinging, and I'm just steady just beating her face in. So that's when her table was right by the science lab little counter, whatever, near the sink. So we backed right into there, and the next thing you know, I'm just uppercutting her, like real hard, just uppercutting her. And somebody screaming in the background, she leaking! Oh snap, she leaking! I'm like, I'm just still going. I'm not even worrying about anything. I just like legit, I felt like I blacked out, but I saw as exactly everything what I was doing. I saw everything. I even heard everything that I was doing. I heard everything that was just going on. And I was just going in. I was just beating her up, and she was just still swinging. I was banging her head against the cabinet, and it was so crazy. When I was done, I just threw it on the ground, and I picked all my stuff up and walked right out the classroom. By the time the security came upstairs, I was done fighting. I was done everything I was doing with Shawty. And it was like, just go to in school. If you don't know what in school is for people who's suspended, but they don't want to give you actual suspension date, or like send you home or whatever. So it's in school suspension. So I had to go send it in school suspension. And the thing about it, the lady that was working in school, I was really close with her because my sister went to that same middle school. So she knew me off of my sister, and she was like, you want some chicken, baby? And I was like, no, I'm good. And the kids was like, what you do? What you do to her? What you do? What you do? And the lady was like, be quiet. Be quiet. And all we see is we see Sally like rolling down the hallway. Her face is like, she walked past the door, and her face is just like covered in blood. Like legit covered in blood. Her whole white shirt was covered in blood. Like the whole front was just covered in blood. And they was like, dang! You see her in her wheelchair. The nurse had to come upstairs and come put her in the wheelchair and roll her down. It was really, really crazy. They was like, dang, you did that to her? And I was just sitting back there. I was just so irritated because Shawty had just bullied me, like legit bullied me. And talk about it, over the summer, I was at church, and she came to my church. And I'm like, what are you doing at my church? And then my mom saw, and my sister was whispering over to my mom, was like, that's the girl that she fought. That's the girl that she fought. Because I whispered over to my sister that was the girl that I had got into a fight with. And my mom was like, oh, no. And I'm like, really? So what my mom did was, my mom was the MC, and my mom was like, we just want to acknowledge our guests, but Tanise, I need you to come up to the front, and I need you to give this little girl a hug, because what y'all did was wrong, and y'all need to make up. I'm like, Ma, seriously? Really, in front of the church? So in front of everybody, I had to go and give this little girl a hug. And then at the end of the service, I was wondering why she was there, and then come to find out, my cousin is married to her brother, to that girl's brother. So I'm sitting over here like, Sally is somewhat, not all the way, but somewhat technically, I don't know how, but related to me, and I fought Sally. Oh, but we ain't blood, so I ain't gotta worry about it. But just to let Shawty know, if she ever, it's like, no, I ain't about to do that. But me and Sally, we made up, and we're all cool. We see each other at events for my cousin and her children and whatever, or her husband, well, her ex-husband now, whatever. We see them there, and yeah. So we just say hi, and she's living her life. We follow each other on social media. We don't really talk about the fights no more, and that's about it. So that was my first fight that I ever got into my whole entire life. That's about it for this story. So if you like this video, don't forget to thumbs it up, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you want, go ahead and share this video, pass it around to whoever been fighting. You know, if you have some friends that been duking it out all their life, go ahead and pass this video around. It might give you a little laugh, it might not, whatever. But go ahead and comment below, and yeah, comment below some stories about your time that you ever got into a fight. So that's about it, and I'm out. Toodles.